We're going to continue our series on learning tennis as an open skill, specifically looking at decision making. Now, decision making comes in two stages. The first stage is intention, which is basically having a really clear picture about what I want the ball to do. But that's not the only decision making. That's just making up your mind. The next part of that is differentiation. And differentiation is selecting between a couple of options. For example, if I'm at the net and I have high volleys, that leads me to a set of options. If I receive low volleys, that leads me to another set of options. So I would need to differentiate between high and low volleys at the net. The other thing we're going to look at is tactical decision making and technical decision making. Tactical decision making is what do I do and the decisions around that. Technical decision making is deciding how do I implement my technique. No matter what the level of play, every player needs to make good decisions in order to play successful tennis. Let's look at a couple of examples. One of the typical examples of technical decision making is grip changes. Now, it's not so much the holding of the racket that gives people challenge, but it's the switching of the grips. That's what causes people fits, especially starter players. Trying to make the right grip at the right time based on the ball that you get, that's the thing that is the big issue. So what we're going to look at is these grip changes in an open skill process. Now, in the neutral position, I would recommend that you have your forehand grip. Now, you can have any grip you want in your neutral position, but I recommend the forehand grip for a couple of reasons. First off, most of the time people are going to use more forehands. On the majority part of the court, they actually run around their backhand, so you're going to hit more forehands, so you don't even have to change the grip if you start there. The other thing is changing the grip to a forehand to a backhand is actually an easier grip change. Going from a backhand to a forehand is a little bit tougher. So the only grip change under pressure you'd have to make if you had your forehand grip in the neutral position is changing to that backhand grip. I'd also recommend that you use your non-dominant hand. It really is important to have it active and engaged when you're changing those grips. That helps a lot. Let's look at an open skill process for grip changes.
For grip changes, we'll use the knuckle of the index finger. When the knuckle is on the side, we'll use the cue word side. When switching to an Eastern backhand, use your non-dominant hand to keep the racket face vertical and let your knuckle roll over the top. We'll use top as the cue word. For the two-handed backhand, we'll still use the cue word top, even though you may choose to only roll over as far as a continental grip. Make sure you get back to a forehand grip when you're in that neutral ready position. Use the cue words in a rally, either calling top or side before the ball crosses the net. Now let's look at doing differentiation training tactically. As an example, let's use our 5 phases of play of rally, defense, forcing, attack, and countering to train differentiation. To train differentiating between forcing and rallying on ground strokes, boxes are set up in the deep center lane. Shots that land in the box are heavy neutralizing balls and should be rallied back. Shots that land shorter than the box should be forced to try to gain advantage. The cue words rally or force are used to identify the appropriate response. The cue should be called before the ball crosses the net. The high percentage response for responding to the deep ball is to hit a neutralizing shot back that keeps your opponent from gaining the advantage. The same process is used when differentiating between rallying neutral volleys and finishing attack volleys.
That's it.
Balls received level or below the net need to be put deep neutralize the opponent. Balls that are higher can be attacked with either power or precision. These are only a couple of examples of the many decision-making variations that can be trained.